AEW Revolution goes down this evening from the Crypto.com arena in Los Angeles, California. It's usually one of AEW's biggest events on their yearly pay-per-view calendar. It's the first pay-per-view event for Tony Khan's promotion in 2025. So, are they going to start the year off with a bang? And could we see some possible big-name returns this evening? We'll let you know in this countdown video. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's talk about AEW Revolution this evening live from the Crypto.com arena in Los Angeles, California. The former Staples Center, of course, a home for many big pro wrestling events in the past, and a big one this evening with AEW's first pay-per-view event of 2025, that being Revolution. Now, last year was a huge Revolution pay-per-view featuring an absolutely historic main event for several reasons. And could we see another noteworthy show this evening? And could there be several possible big name returns when it comes to tonight's pay-per-view event? Now, of course, we will be live for a watch-along and a post, so be sure to join us later on live here at Wrestling News 365. But let's get straight in to these possible returns that could happen this evening. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your reactions. Let me know your takes. Let me know your opinions to all of it in the comment section below, as always. Let's begin with the possible return of Killswitch. Now, we haven't seen Killswitch since around sort of August to September of last year. The former Luchasaurus was down with a really serious illness. It was pneumonia that led to a really serious hospitalization for the former AEW TNT champion. Now, of course, Killswitch, the former Luchasaurus, was part of the patriarchy. He was the person that really allowed Christian Cage to win his AEW World Championship contract that he still holds to this day at AEW All In London last year at Wembley Stadium. Now, there have been reports recently suggesting that Killswitch believes he has been cleared by his doctors to return to the ring, but that then had been reported by Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select that, whilst he may have been cleared by his doctors, being cleared by AEW's medical team is a different story. Now, AEW Revolution could be a big night for the patriarchy, as you saw in yesterday's possible major surprises countdown video that we did. Some are speculating that this evening's pay-per-view could go off the air with Christian Cage becoming, for the first time in his career, the AEW World Champion, once again stabbing his former best friend Cope in the back, with Cope defeating Jon Moxley in the main event, only holding the AEW World Championship for just a few seconds before Christian Cage cashes in and leaves the former Staples Center with the AEW World Championship. And a big part of that could be the return of Killswitch. Could the numbers game once again prove fatal to Cope? Could Killswitch be the actual pivotal point for Christian Cage to leave as the AEW World Champion? So don't be surprised if we see the former Luchasaurus back inside of an AEW ring this evening. Let me know your thoughts if you expect or not to see Killswitch return. Now, another return we could see is Skye Blue. Now, a recent injury report came out suggesting that both Killswitch and Skye Blue were saying to people that they felt they were close to, or rather cleared to actually return to AEW in-ring competition. Now, Blue has been out of action since suffering a broken ankle last year. It was thought that she was going to be on the shelf for around 6 months, and AEW were reportedly expecting her to be back in action around sort of the springtime of this year. However, her recovery has gone quicker and faster and better than expected. She actually made the trip out to Australia for the recent AEW Grand Slam Australia television event to support her boyfriend Kyle Fletcher, who of course will be in action at AEW Revolution against Will Ospreay inside of a steel cage. So could we see Skye Blue get involved with possibly a women's match on the show? There are an AEW Women's World Championship match on the show with Timeless Toni Storm facing off against Mariah May. And what is the Hollywood ending going to be? Is it going to be a new character being involved into that storyline, that Hollywood old-style storyline? Could Skye Blue return and get involved in the TBS Championship match? Could she get involved in the match which sees Mercedes Moné defend her AEW TBS Championship? Moné previously had backup in the form of Camille. That didn't go very well and didn't last very long. Maybe Skye Blue could be involved in that. Or could Skye Blue actually get involved in the Ospreay versus Fletcher match? Could she become another member of the Don Callis family? Don Callis recently has suggested that there could be more members of the Don Callis family that we're not aware of at the moment. It would make natural sense for Blue to return to television and partner up with her real-life boyfriend. So, could we see Skye Blue and Kyle Fletcher become an on-screen couple as well? Possibly in the Don Callis family. Don't be too shocked if that happens this evening. Now, speaking of the Don Callis family, what about Trent? Now, Trent, if you recall, just before he was written off of AEW television, actually did side with the Don Callis family. It was only for a few weeks. It was all part of his feud with Orange Cassidy, and obviously, it was resulting in Chuck Taylor's retirement. They had that parking lot brawl match, and then Trent feuded with Orange Cassidy, actually got some big results, some big victories in that feud, and then he just disappeared. Now, it was later revealed that he had undergone neck surgery. It's not the first time that Trent had undergone neck surgery. He's had fusion in his neck before, and this latest injury was kind of a further follow-up regarding that when it comes to some of the initial operation maybe going a bit wrong and had to be fixed up. Now, in terms of his timeline of when he was expected to return, nobody really knows. And the key and critical part of this return is, as I mentioned before, Don Callis has been recently talking about the Don Callis family having more members than you can just think about on the screen. Yes, of course, we know about Kyle Fletcher. Yes, we know about Mark Davis, I guess, not being happy with Aussie Open being in the family. Yes, we know about Brian Cage. Yes, we know about Lance Archer. Yes, we know about these other names that are currently in the Don Callis family. But there are also, according to the former manager of Kenny Omega, other people who could be in there. We know that arguably the crown jewel of the Don Callis family is Konosuke Takeshita. Takeshita will be defending his AEW International Championship against Kenny Omega this evening at AEW Revolution. And some have speculated that even though it's quite widely thought that we're going to be getting Omega versus Okada, possibly at All In Texas later on this year, possibly AEW Continental Championship versus AEW International Championship, possibly a unification match. Maybe Omega's road to getting the International Championship isn't going to be totally smooth. Maybe Trent returns this evening, costs Kenny Omega the AEW International Championship, extends that feud maybe up to AEW Dynasty, something like that, and then Omega wins the championship. Because, of course, if Omega wins the title tonight and Okada expected to retain his championship against Brody King, there still is an element of time before we get to AEW All In the summer that they've got to fill, and they've got other pay-per-views coming up, as I mentioned, AEW Dynasty being one of them in May. So possibly we could see maybe Trent get involved, come back, get reunited with the Don Callis family, maybe get involved in that international championship match or something like that. So I wouldn't be too shocked if we saw this former best friend come back to AEW TV. Now, we spoke about this yesterday in the possible major surprises for AEW Revolution this evening, but could tonight be the return of the Executive Vice Presidents of All Elite Wrestling, the Young Bucks? We have yet to see Matthew and Nicholas Jackson on AEW television in 2025. The last time we saw them on AEW TV was the Fright Night Dynamite around Halloween last year, so that's late October. They lost the AEW World Tag Team Championships to Private Party then, and this was seen as kind of the end of the sort of EVP Elite storyline that had seen them feud with so many people, recruit Kazuchika Okada, separate themselves from Kenny Omega, kind of flirt with Hangman, but then also not flirt with him about being in the Elite once more. Now, once they lost the AEW World Tag Team Championships, they then said to interim EVP Christopher Daniels that they were going to work from home, and we haven't seen them on AEW TV since. Now, in reality, when they signed new contracts with AEW, they signed contracts for limited dates, and AEW didn't want to use them for those dates for the remainder of the year, hence why we haven't seen them on AEW TV yet. Now, they have wrestled this year, of course, 2 matches for New Japan Pro Wrestling. First, at Wrestle Dynasty, winning the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships in the process. Their next match for New Japan, they dropped the championships about 38 days or so later at New Japan's The New Beginning in Osaka, and after that they did say that they were kind of expected to be coming back to AEW TV soon. In fact, they were recently backstage during a taping of AEW Dynamite in California, their home state, and it was reported by, I believe it was Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter and Sean Ross Sapp, that those within AEW did kind of expect them possibly to return at these California shows, considering that's where they're from, but maybe they're being saved for the biggest California show, which is this evening at AEW Revolution at the former Staples Center, now the Crypto.com Arena. What match would they get involved in? Would they get involved possibly with Kenny Omega, the same man, of course, that they wrote off television last year by attacking him, along with Kazuchika Okada? Of course, Okada is a member of the Elite, so could they get involved with Okada's match with Brody King? Obviously, there's the Hellhounds now, and Brody King has kind of been feuding with them. So you've got Brody King, there's Julian your heart, there's Buddy Matthews. We're not really sure on Buddy Matthews' injury status at the moment. Last he was seen was on crutches. Could they get involved in that and possibly in a bit of a trios direction? I guess that's possible. Or maybe, will they get involved in something completely different? They were in the main event of last year's critically acclaimed and successful AEW Revolution pay-per-view in the main event against Darby Allin and a retiring Sting. So maybe it's the time for them to return in their home state. Could we see the Young Bucks return this evening? I think that one could be very, very likely. And finally, maybe this is a bit of a Hail Mary. Maybe this one is unlikely. But 1 year ago, we saw the retirement match of this man, the man they call Sting, the icon, the WWE Hall of Famer himself, the arguably biggest star to come out of WCW. He wrestled his last in-ring match a year ago at AEW Revolution in Greensboro, teaming with Darby Allin, successfully defending the AEW World Tag Team Championships against the aforementioned Young Bucks in a match that was chaotic, crazy, and many people have described one of the better pro wrestling retirements in history. Now, of course, we do know this doesn't mean that Sting's going to stop appearing in AEW. He has since appeared on AEW television since, namely at AEW All in London last year. He actually helped Darby Allin out after he lost a coffin match against Jack Perry for the TNT Championship, chasing off Perry and the Young Bucks once more. So could we see Sting return to the event where he retired last year? Could we see him return and get involved in, I don't know, what match? Anything's possible, certainly. Sting has said that this is going to be his last year in the makeup, in the face paint. Sting has been doing and announcing a lot of signings recently with him appearing in the iconic Sting face paint, but he has said that 2025 will be the last year that he does that. Now, whether or not that's just going to be for conventions and signings and he's still going to make appearances for AEW under the face paint remains to be seen. He is under contract to AEW. He did announce last year that he had signed a brand new deal with AEW. It's mainly like a licensing deal and an appearance deal, so he can appear in video games, merchandise, come up with projects together, make the occasional appearance. So he's not retired from pro wrestling, i.e. we're never going to see Sting inside of a ring again, i.e. appearing, not necessarily wrestling, but he's just not going to be an active in-ring performer anymore. So could this be the time that Sting makes one of his, I guess now occasional appearances in AEW programming at the same event where he retired last year? It certainly would be poetic. As I mentioned, what kind of match would he get involved in? Would he get involved possibly in the main event with the Death Riders versus Cope, John Moxley versus Cope? I mean, Sting has played a kind of vigilante figure, hasn't he, in the past in his career, whether it was against the NWO in WCW, whether it was against the Authority in WWE for his brief run there. It would maybe make a little bit of sense that if he sees some form of injustice when it comes to maybe the Death Riders, maybe screwing over Cope, or maybe Christian Cage attempting to screw over Cope after Cope becomes the AEW World Champion, maybe Sting could make his return there and fight them off. I mean, Cope did team with Sting and Darby Allin back at Full Gear a couple of years ago on this Sting retirement tour. So I guess when it comes to the Stinger, anything's possible. And that's certainly about the character of Sting, that anything's possible, anything can happen, and you can't rule it out. So those are 5 names that could possibly be set to return at AEW Revolution this evening in Los Angeles at the Crypto.com Arena. What are your thoughts? Are there any of them possible or any of them likely, unlikely? Have I missed any off the list? So there's some names there that you go, Owen, you've missed that one. You haven't thought of this. Let me know your thoughts about it. Let me know your predictions. Let me know your opinions, your hot takes, all that fun stuff in the comment section below. Get the discussion going. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. A reminder, you can join the WN365 roster by clicking that join button. More news videos will be coming from tomorrow as per usual. In the week, we usually have 1 or 2 news videos a day. We're trying to incorporate more of these countdown videos as well here on the channel. And a reminder, I will be live this evening for the AEW Revolution watch-along and the post-show so we can find out what happens in real time. It's a big month here at Wrestle News 365. We're going to have so many watch-alongs with all of these Raw and SmackDown TV tapings airing live on Netflix. As they're in Europe, we're going to be doing watch-alongs and post-shows for all of them. So now's the time to subscribe if you haven't already. Click that notification bell, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.